Greetings, Commanders! Welcome back to a boss breakdown video. Oh man. Okay, so first off, it's very rare in our game that we actually get a new commander that changes everything. Rogers does it, Plasma does it, Hoodoo does it, Elixir kinda does it, but like not really. But what she does do is completely change the infantry boss commander, which once was Stella, is now Elixir. I know it's a bold claim to say that now Stella has been replaced, but I'm going to show you some information here real quick in this video that's going to make you say, okay, I see what you're saying. Is this a reasonable case? And then I'm going to explain it's a reasonable case, and then I'm going to show you some replays, and we're going to talk about the conclusion of what this has as far as an effect on the meta is concerned. So that's what this video is about. I'm here to tell you that Stella has been replaced by the new Rabbit Commander Elixir. So we're going to do the traditional breakdown, the introduction, the character flavor text, what type of gear you should use, how the skills work, and then I'm going to talk about how this commander fits into the meta. I'm going to try to work that out linearly, kind of like follow this path. So if you kind of know the basics, you may want to skip ahead, but if you want to join me for the ride, then let's get into it. So apologize in advance. This is going to be a bit longer of a video, and I don't have a super high level replay because the Galactic Battle Season 6 has just begun. At the end of Galactic Battle Season 5, we had the Dawn of Vega, where we realized that Vega is now going to be the new boss commander. In this season, we are going to see that Elixir is going to be the new boss commander. I think I'm going to talk about that at the end, but I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to be hard to deny that Elixir is the new king of the game. So I want to verify real quick that this is actually Season 6, right? It should be the history. There we go. So Season 5 was last season, and that's when Vega came out. Season 6 has just begun, and Elixir is actually the name of this commander, and she is the gift for qualifying for the top 32, but I think also just top 64. I don't know for sure. If you didn't get Elixir and you were in the Galactic Battle playoffs or competing, let me know what rank you were in the comments below, and interact with the likes and channels and comments and all that. Hit the bell icon, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that stuff's good for the channel. All right, let's talk about Elixir. First things first, she is infantry, right? I am saying she's replacing Stella because she has a multi-strike that also triggers skills. If she didn't trigger her other skills or gems, this wouldn't be a very good commander, but she does. Her 20% is a defense or debuff, kind of like Stella, so that's a bit of a wash. And then, yeah, the Awakening's the same. But let's talk flavor text. Raised by the combative Lunar Rabbit tribe, Elixir has 4 times the usual combat abilities. The biggest challenge they face now is finding Mr. Right. Aw. Okay, so you can see it's 2 rabbits conjoined by a bunch of cables and stuff. Actually a cool looking design. It's got the Japanese schoolgirl robot design. It says twins on her leg. It says baby on the front tattoo here. She's a bit cuter. The one in the back's a bit more tore up maybe. It's got a dog tag on her ear, maybe an air freshener. What is that? A cactus for the other ear. Bad or no, it says baby on her arm. I don't know. Maybe they're equally sweet. I thought it was kind of like a yin-yang kind of thing going on, but maybe not. Okay, so it's an infantry commander. It is a boss-style commander, so you are going to want to build, just like Stella, defense or dodge on the pants, because you would like to make your opponent miss if they don't have a guaranteed hit skill. Dodge on the chest is okay, but if you are going straight boss because you have tier 12, you're probably going to have better luck with just taking the hits with Tyrant. But I don't know. It's kind of up to you. I think players out there that do mess around with really high-level gear and high-level play are going to have multiple sets of gear to mix up. If they know they're going against a commander that doesn't have guaranteed hit, they might try to dodge past them. But in the helm slot, you definitely want to get damage. I think Devastation Helmet is generally a better choice. Oh, I can't show you right. There we go. Devastation Helmet's typically a better choice, but as this commander doesn't have a guaranteed hit, having the little extra accuracy you get from Eye of the Abyss is pretty okay. And then her skills don't particularly need crit damage or basic damage. So Eye of Abyss is fine. It's probably better than Destruction Helmet. If you're finding that accuracy isn't a problem for you as an infantry commander, then you can choose whatever you like. But Double Titans for damage in the primary slots. Of course, until you get Titans, you can use all the basic stuff. You can use the Skywalkers, you can use the Apocs, and you can use Sui gear when the time is appropriate. There's nothing special about this commander that says it's extra good or bad for Sui, but we will need to talk about that 20% skill because it is a defense skill, and we'll kind of cover that in the pros and cons. So anyway, that's Elixir. She is a giant robot rabbit Japanese twin thing with a double strike. Now, I do want to mention Cerberus has a very similarly worded skill. Where is Cerberus at? Cerberus. Every time I go looking for a commander in a breakdown video, it always takes me way too long. I can tell I've already lost him. All right, where is he? Okay, Cerberus. Come on. Ah, there he is. Okay. Cerberus says 40% chance this turn there will be an additional 2 attacks. It's not 2 additional turns. Just literally he just melees twice. Elixir, on the other hand, when she does her first skill twin, it's a 100% chance that she's going to trigger another round of attacks, which means she's going to trigger twin again. She's going to potentially trigger Lucky Rabbit's Foot again. She's going to potentially trigger Libra. She's going to potentially trigger Gemini. I'm not going to say potentially trigger again. You get the point. What's interesting about this chance to trigger skills over and over again is that it makes skills like Ares incredibly powerful. It makes commanders that don't have guaranteed hits, like infantry commanders, typically don't, like Stella and Elixir. It gives them more chances to land Sagittarius, which hits really hard. Sagittarius is one of the most underrated gem sets out there, but especially at really high level when players are using really high HP gear, like the Valkyrie helmet, the Sagittarius can cut right through that bonus HP. See that bonus 284% right there? Oh, careful. Don't do that. Sagittarius reads, I think Sagittarius still cuts through HP, right? They didn't change that on me as I'm saying that. Let me double check it. Here we go. Sagittarius cuts through HP buff. So it's basically like Scorpio for infantry. A lot of players do favor defense, but now that Vega is such a popular commander, you will start seeing players stack HP. So roll out Elixir with that Sagittarius, Gemini, Aries, Libra, whatever you want to put in there, and you can really have yourself a huge heavy-hitting commander. Now, let's get to the bread and butter and the spreadsheet over here, because when I started reading Elixir skills, because we kind of knew what Elixir was going to do when she first came out, we didn't know, when she was first announced 3 months ago, we knew what she was going to do. We didn't know exactly how she was going to do it. We didn't know what percentage this skill was going to be. It turns out it's 100, which is perfect, which it basically makes her better than Stella right off the bat, because Stella is 60%. And then second, we didn't know if her double strikes were going to trigger gems. Well, now we do know that they do trigger them, so it certainly makes her better. So let's go side by side, talk about Elixir versus Stella. When I say Stella, everyone, come on, this is Stella, you know, right? 60% Wings of Eternity. She does she does less melee damage than she did on her previous attack, but she can also trigger it again and go again and again and again. I think the maximum I've ever seen is 5 or 6 it capped off at. I haven't checked it in so long, and frankly, it's pretty hard to get more than 5 attacks in a row, so you don't see it too often anyway. But anyway, she's a commander that triggers her skills over and over, and triggers her gems over and over, which makes her really powerful. So let's talk about that skill. This is kind of unique to the infantry class. You do see some Walker commanders have the ability to double attack, triple attack, like Mary and Kid, but they do not have double turns or triple turns where they can trigger their gems over and over. It's unique to infantry in that regard. So 100% chance to trigger before the next action. This can be activated twice this turn. Attack damage of additional action will be 10% of normal damage. It says 10% because I'm level 5. What that means is for every level you increase it, the damage of the normal strike will go up 2%. So for every level you get double the... For every one level you get 2%. Why that's important is when Stella triggers her skill, for every one level you get 1.5%. Think about that. One level, 1.5%. Elixir, one level, 2%. Innately a 50% or 25% damage increase on her skill. Just the raw damage alone. So at level 60, you're looking at 120% bonus damage. So she's actually hitting harder on her second attack than she is on her first attack. While Stella, on the other hand, at level 60, which is the max skill, is only hitting for 90% of her base damage. So right off the bat there, Elixir's going to be hitting harder off the skill alone. Second, Stella only has a 60% chance to trigger this. Now you can augment this with the Dominion Hole, take it up to 66% chance, which is nice. but technically it's not as good as, well, it definitely isn't as good as 100. And even after 3 strikes, to get it there, I'll show you, it's not even that much. Not even that big of a deal. So, what does Twin mean? Twin means that Elixir goes 1 turn, she triggers all of her buffs, attacks. Then, this skill will trigger. She goes again, assuming there's troops to attack. She will trigger all of her buffs and gems and first skill, and then her twin ability, and then a 3rd time she'll do it all over again. This means she can trigger Aries and debuff her opponents. This means she can trigger Sagittarius and get a huge hit. This means she can do Gemini for the double strike. Libra would be nice as well, but not really on infantry commanders. Libra's still just used for tier suppression, I think, for most players. Not the super high level players, but for the most players, they'll still run Libra. Okay, while she's guaranteed 3 strikes as long as there's troops in front of her, Stella is only guaranteed, well, only a 60% chance, and then to go again and then again, we have to go to the spreadsheet. So, oh, I didn't talk about the 20% skill. I guess we'll try to come back to that. The 20% skill, actually, let's tackle the 20% skill. Okay. Stella's 20% debuffs all of the enemy accuracy and attack, which is actually pretty good. If you can make your enemy lower their attack damage and accuracy, they may never even hit Stella if they're not running guaranteed hit. But let's be honest. Who's not running guaranteed hit in today's meta, right? I mean, even Gilly has to run guaranteed hit gems. So, yeah, maybe this can help out against Gilly, but Stella is such a naturally countered commander by Gilly. It's not really a thing. Lucky Rabbit's Foot, on the other hand, only buffs herself. It says 20% chance till the next action, the initiator will be blessed. So you self-buff the slot that triggers it, and if damage is received and it actually exceeds your total HP, it will be reduced by a certain percentage. So let's say your entire slot of troops had 100 health points, and your enemy attacks into you, and by the time everything's calculated, you are hit for 101, which is enough to remove your total hit points. Instead, the damage is reduced. Now, it's 1.6% damage per level, which means at level 60, this goes to 100%, which is going to stop melee damage by 100%. She will be able to go immune by 100% if she's level 60 skill, which anyone that's maining her will. Now, it's a 20% chance. We don't get too excited about 20% chance, but wait, I always say that. We don't get excited about 20% skills. Elixir is different because she's guaranteed to have 3 chances to trigger a 20% skill. That's huge. Way huge. You might think, oh, she has a 1 in 5 chance, a 1 in 5 chance, and a 1 in 5 chance. But Melt, realistically, what does that add up to? Well, first off, you're going to be triple striking into the opponent directly across from you, and you're going to be hitting really hard, hopefully. But if it's a commander you aren't going to finish that one slot and they're going to have a counter strike on you, one of those 3 times, if you trigger this, you're going to take 0 damage. You say, well, yeah, but what are the chances of triggering it if it's 20% chance 3 times in a row? Well, it's actually really easy to calculate. What you want to calculate, the way I do it, is you want to calculate the failure rate. So the chance that it won't trigger 3 turns in a row is 4 out of 5 times for the first time, 4 out of 5 times for the second time, and 4 out of 5 times for the third time, right? So real simple. So it's 4 times 4 times 4, right? Boom, 64. Now, out of 5 is 5 times 5 times 5 divided by 125, 51%. So 51% of the time, Elixir will not trigger her super defense and vulnerability buff. 51% of the time. The majority of the time, she won't. But 48.8% of the time, she will. 48% of the time, after that slot goes, it probably triggered Lucky Rabbit's Foot. But not only Lucky Rabbit's Foot, because you also have that same chance against triggering Gemini, Sagittarius, Aries. So if you stack Aries and Lucky Rabbit's Foot on this commander, which Lucky Rabbit's Foot's already there, you're going to be a super boss defense commander right off the bat. Like, she's going to be really strong. So in that regard, sometimes it might just be better to go with Gift of the Valkyrie. Build a little tanky. You know, instead of going for the dodge, maybe do go for the damage. Mix it up. Find out what works for you. Find out what tier you have. Find out what your opponents are using. Find what works for you. But don't underestimate this Lucky Rabbit's Foot, because if you survive, there's a 50% chance you're going to trigger it. That skill may as well say 50% if you're going into players that are bigger than you. Now, granted, I know that's very high risk. Anyway, all right, with keeping pace with this video, we've definitely talked about a lot of different things. I hope you guys are enjoying all this content real quick. I hope you guys are absorbing what I'm saying here. Elixir is going to be a main commander. Anyone that mains Stella is going to watch this video and say, I'm switching to Elixir. Right now, I'm switching to Elixir. And they're going to use it in the Galactic Battle next week. And if they don't, they're going to be going against Elixirs next week and go, oh, crap, so that's what she does. And then they're going to switch. That's how these things generally work. We did it with Vega. We did it with Bullet. We did it with, oh, who else? Other commanders we broke the news on this channel. But this is the next big commander. Mark my words. Okay. Let's talk about statistics. This is the statistics part. All right, so we talked about the statistics of actually triggering a 20% skill when you have 3 guaranteed chances in a row, which is about 48.8%, almost 49% chance. Okay, so a lot of people will make the argument, yeah, well, Elixir can only go 3 attacks. Stella can do 5 or 6. Well, she can, but how often statistically does Stella get a 4th attack? And the answer is about 21%. 21% of the time, Stella can actually get a 5th attack. Okay, but you gotta, I'm sorry, a 4th attack. Elixir only gets 3. Stella can get 4th, 5th, and 6th, but there's only a 20% chance she will. And when she does, remember, Stella hits 25% less hard than Elixir in the first place. Remember? Because her skill is 1.5% per level versus Elixir's, which is 2% per level. So yes, Stella can occasionally hit 4 times. But how often does Stella actually hit 3 times in a row? When it goes straight toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano, Stella only gets a 2nd attack 60% of the time. And she only gets a 3rd attack 36% of the time after that. While Elixir gets it 100% of the time, if there's troops in front of her. That's huge. That's not like 50% of the time. It's not like, you know, Elixir gets it 100% of the time and Stella gets it 80% of the time. You're talking 20%. You're not. You're straight up saying, basically, Elixir gets it 3 times as often as Stella does. And she hits 25% harder. What kind of math are you looking for if you're still not convinced that Elixir's the better commander? Is Elixir harder to get? Nope. She was a free S commander. In fact, you got her just for qualifying in the Galactic Battle. Now, if you missed out on qualifying for the Galactic Battle, then keep using Stella. She's a perfectly good commander. We've been using her for 5 seasons. But if you have the chance to get Elixir, or you have Elixir, you need to start maining her. So let's go ahead and take it. I've got all 9 of them, right? I've already used 1 just to get this video started. So we'll go ahead and use the last one there. I think I'm short. Am I short one? Let me see. And one more. One more. I wanted to see. Sometimes I thought they might give you like an extra one just to have in case you absorb her and you want to just have her later for your collection. But the devs don't seem to care too much if you are a collector. All right, where's the last Elixir? I know I always miss it. I always miss it. Right there. Okay. Let's do the evolve. 3, 2, 1. What changes? What changes? What changes? What changes? Oh, she gets ugly. She gets pink and she gets ugly. And her leg starts to glow. And she gets awakened. Ah, yeah, she takes that flower of life for awakening. So does Stella, though. So, and they're equal in that regard. Awaken is that super powered ability you use in Galactic Battle when you really need to get some bonus stats. But this is Elixir. This is what she looks like. This is the new bad bitch in town. She is going to be replacing Stella all week. You're going to start seeing Elixirs all over Ace of Galaxy, all over Galactic Battle. If you still see anyone using Stella as a main, just laugh at them. Because they're gimping themselves 25% damage and 3 times as much multi-strikes. I think undoubtedly, where I want to go with this now is, undoubtedly, Elixir is the best commander in the game. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean you can't counter Elixir. It doesn't mean you can't take Pictor and just crush into her, because you can. It doesn't mean you can't take, Rogers and just, go defensive stance and go past her. You can. Same with Plasma. Plasma's damage isn't going to be spell damage. Elf and Plasma spell damage isn't going to be reduced by Lucky Rabbit's Foot. Maybe a little bit by Ares, but not Lucky Rabbit's Foot. So she's still going to be vulnerable. But when it comes to comparing, like, the top damage commanders, Vega, Stella, who's the Walker damage commander now? I don't even know. Chief. No one. I mean, Moonshadow. No one even plays. Everyone just plays Hoodoo on walkers. They should be playing Elf. But the meta's all messed up right now, man. It really is. The meta in this game is so jacked up. But Elixir is the new infantry main. Yeah, you heard it here first. This is definitely it. And we have no backup skins yet, but this is our girl. Did I miss anything else? Let's check the spreadsheet real quick. Let's talk about a few more statistics. Okay, so in 100 attacks with Elixir, you are going to hit 300 times. With Stella, in 100 attacks, because she has a 60% chance on the second attack and a 60% chance on the third attack, she's only going to hit about 240. Actually, it's not 2. It's about 240. It's not 300, and it's not less than 200 because it's 60%, not 50%. So it's around 240, I think. I think 236. Anyway, like I said, you can augment that with the Dominion, increase that 10%, and that kind of goes back to the original statement that Elixir is going to triple strike 3 times more often than Stella is going to triple strike. So it doesn't even matter if you give Stella that 10% bonus for her chance to trigger. She's still so far behind Elixir. She's not even in the same ballpark. In fact, I can't wait to see what this does to the meta, because crushing through Rogers is going to be so much easier now. With Vega and Elixir on the rise, you're going to be able to get through Rogers with the greatest ease we've ever had in this game. What's Elixir's biggest counter? Who's going to crush Elixir the hardest? Well, probably really high defensive walkers that do spell damage and heal. Who would that be? Elf, pretty much hands down. Hoodoo's still going to do pretty well against her. I do like Pictor better because Pictor can hit the whole front row with his Awakening, and his front row sticky bombs hit harder than Hoodoo's does. And he has a guaranteed hit, so he won't be getting dodged too much. So, you know, I like Pictor. I like Elf. Let me look through the Walker commanders next to say what else could be a good counter to her. Of course, you know, using Rock would always be good if you want to just you know, ignore tier suppression marches with low tier. That would be fine. Galileo is going to be good because Instinct is going to increase his accuracy and attack, so he'll be hitting nice and hard. I think he'd still get his butt kicked in a fair toe-to-toe fight, just like Stella normally does to Galileo's, but it's still not a bad matchup. King is an okay matchup, but I haven't done the King breakdown. But when Mind's Eye triggers on Elixir, I don't know if it's going to remove her buff entirely. Like I said, we haven't seen any super high-level replays of it, but odds are some of the time this is going to be Elixir's going to nullify it. But he's still going to do well against her. Dodging him is not going to be a good thing for her. I still like Pictor and Moonshadow and Elf better. I like Elf the best. I think Elf by far is the best. So let's stick to it. Elf's the counter. Elixir's the new big bad bitch. And that's it, man. That's it. That's the breaking news, man. Season 6, Elixir is on the hunt. So this season, I'll talk more about commanders this season in a video coming up. But definitely Vega, definitely Elixir, definitely Rogers. Definitely Elf. I think those are going to be the big 4 players this year. So, of course, you know, and the return of Plasma and those guys. But, well, just Plasma, because he's a bomber. Anyway, that's enough of that. I've got a lot to say. I probably need to do another fireside chat. But let me know what you think. Am I off? Am I misreading something? Did I not show you the replay showing her skills trigger multiple times? I feel like I need to do that. Let's do that. Here we go. So this is showing that her Twins skill does trigger multiple times. You'll see here's the twin guaranteeing trigger that always triggers. Here it goes again because it always triggers. And because there's nothing to trigger it off of in the back, it doesn't go again. There's no troops behind it. But here we go. Here's the Libra triggering on the second attack, showing that it does work. And then there's nothing to trigger off of, so it just goes there. And then here we go. Here's the first attack. Now here comes the second attack. There's a Lucky Rabbit's Foot for the immunity. And then there's the double strike. So there you go. Shows it does the first skill, and you show that it does do your Star Jewels. So there it is. That's the proof. Let me know what you think. Comments, upvotes, bell icons, subscribe to the channel. Tell your guildmates, guys. If they don't know about our channel and all the research we've done for the last year, all those videos are still relevant. Not a lot has changed. If they're still looking for different ways to play this game or just want to watch more Ark of War content, tell them about the channel. Spread the word. Join the Line community in the description below. The Line community is a chat channel where you can just go and ask questions to any other players, whatever skill level you are. If you're a brand new player or if you are an elite boss player that spent 100K, you can join the channels with us and interact with those guys as well. But check the description below. My name is Mel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.